So this is an interesting one. This is another just random bike that I found on eBay, and it looks like it's got quite an interesting history to it. Now on the surface of things, you can quite clearly see it's an off-road. It's an off-road sport. It's before they decided to do all the Proflex range, with all the soft tail or full suspension, I guess, like the 753 and the 853 that I've got. So this is about a 1989. It's fully rigid, and it should originally come with a complete 300 LX group set, making it one of their bargain, well, I say bargain basement, but I guess it was still probably quite expensive at the time. And it has a chromoly 4130 frame set, really. Now in theory it shouldn't be anything special, but this one, as I saw in the photos, has a lot of interesting parts on it, and that's why I ended up buying it. I'm surprised it didn't go for more, to be honest. Apparently there was people interested in it from all over the country, but the bidding seemed to stall, strangely. But anyway, first component, it's got the Gervin flex stem, fluoro yellow clearly, alloy body. I'll have to take it out to see what date it is, but this whole bike has been changed over the years for some very interesting pieces. You might also notice here we've got the DX shifter. They are the M071s, but on the left side for the front changer, it's actually an XT. The lever itself, the body, is the M071, but the shifter mechanism has been changed out for the XT. So that is one indication. I mean, straight away you've got DX shifters when it should have come with 300 LX, but we've even upgraded for some reason the front shifter. Interesting, and it kind of goes throughout the rest of the bike as well. Now I caught a glimpse of this as well, tucked away, the Dior XT headset. That definitely would not have been standard on a bike of this spec at the time. So someone has really loved this bike to spec it out with that. But you're also catching a glimpse of the main reason I bought the bike, the main reason why apparently a lot of people were messaging the guy who was selling this, and that's the fork. Now going down from that headset, going past the DX brakes, yeah, the M650, we're going to go further down and you'll finally see, we probably saw it in the first shot anyway, that it's a Pace RC30 fork. This fork is pretty rare, very desirable. I believe Oliver over at Red Dread has got one, sprayed fluoro pink, much to, I believe, the dismay of a lot of people. But yeah, Pace RC30, that is the one main reason why I bought this bike. Now the fork alone is worth more than I paid for the bike, apparently, and it's in pretty good condition. The chrome work, or the alloy, is really nice actually, all over. There's a bit of chipping, of course, on the top stanchion crown, but it's also been paired up with, randomly of all things, a Sundoor XE Comp front hub. The wheels in general are just not matching, but just looking at all these parts, this bike has, although they're all mismatching, it's really been looked after over the years. If you're into your old tyres as well, it does actually have a Ritchie Z Max front tyre and a Tioga Trail Dog rear. The front tyre is in a lot better condition. I've changed the tube and it hasn't shown any signs of splitting anywhere. It is an old tyre though, so no doubt if I start riding this heavily it will end up breaking, but for now the front tyre is in great condition. Not so much the rear is falling apart and needs to be replaced, but yeah, I'm kind of happy that this Z Max, the Megabyte Z Max, is good. I'm not sure if it comes across in the video, but yeah, the rear, the Tioga Trail Dog is a little worse for wear. The tread still looks great on it, but as with these old tyres, the skin wall dries out, starts to crack, all the threads start to separate, and they're just no good. And although this side looks fairly decent, the other side has split, so I'm just going to chuck another tyre on this to get it rolling, and actually kind of see how it goes. Now we've gone from original spec of 300 LX to DX shifters, DX brakes. Now we're going to go to the LX parts. It has the LX rear wheel, sorry, the M550. It also has the LX rear derailleur, the M550 as well, and it has the LX front derailleur, M550, all M550. How, when, why they're all changed, I don't know. I do really like the aesthetics of this sort of generation of derailleurs, whether it be, you know, low end 300 LX all the way through to this will be 1990, so I think it stops at XT. Oh, is that going to be M730? It might have gone to, oh no, it'd be M732 or 35. But yeah, everything actually looks really well looked after. The cogs, the jockey wheels look really good. There is a little bit of scuffing obviously, but nothing that will clean up. And all the adjusters are intact as well. And there we have the front. So yeah, just a standard clamp on derailleur, bottom pull. Looks to be again in good condition. There is a bit of rusting. Oh, that felt horrible on the cage or on the pivot arms at the back. But scroll down a bit and you'll see the next kind of exciting thing. Am I going to be able to rotate this? Yes, I am. There we go. There. Cool, you can see it. That is a Mavic chainring attached to an MT60 crankset. If it had been a complete Mavic chain set, crankset, however you want to call it, it'll be worth a fortune. I've been reliably informed by, again, Oliver Red Dread, that one of his shady cartel, as he puts it, is trying to acquire a complete group of this generation of Mavic mountain bike parts. Yeah, very happy. The bottom bracket is kind of random. I haven't quite worked out what it is yet. It's got a weird pattern to it though. As you can see right there actually, it's not your standard Shimano. Yeah, I need to work out what that is. And when I give this bike a service, and I'm just going to get it riding because it's the history of it, like everything put together. I know it should have been a 300 LX and it's not really that special a bike to start with, but how it's been put together, how it's been looked after with changing the headset to XT, the shifters to DX, the brakes to DX, the crankset to DX with the Mavic ring, and you know, looking after all these parts, it kind of tells us a story of the bike. Yeah, and I kind of like it, and I kind of want to keep it as it is and ride it as it is. Now, it does need a bit of work. It rides as it is. After changing that front tube, it does ride. It shifts gears kind of vaguely, and it brakes. You know, so all the workings are there for it to ride. But I will give it a bit of a service before I properly take it out. But yeah, I just thought I'd share this bike with you. I love these random finds that I get. I love the random history of this bike. It does need the adjustments. The front brake, or the front end, judders under braking, so it could be just a bit of pad alignment that needs happening there. But I'll strip it down and service it and see how we go. But I thought I'd just introduce this to you, this random find, because I love it. And then I think we're going to do a live stream after, so if you want to know any questions, want to see this bike a bit more, join the live stream. If you want to see any, well, the garage is a mess, but if you want to see anything in the garage, or go through anything, then yeah, join in straight after. I might go and grab a cup of tea, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is the kind of thing I love. These random bikes, especially in the small frame. They're hard to find in the small frame. And join me in a bit for a chat.